Hi guys, and welcome back to ClickSpring Reviews. Today on the bench we are featuring Elliot Brown. Now they are a small company based in the UK. They've got a kind of following with the military really. There's quite a few military units which I've heard of using their watches. They've really gone for that kind of adventurer, rugged design look to them, and they've absolutely nailed it, to be fair. This is a new Holton automatic GMT. Now, as mentioned, this is the automatic, but they also do a non-GMT quartz version, which is a little cheaper. I think this one retails for, I think you can get about £750. I think it is roughly around about that price. And the quartz one is just under £500. And for the money, I think they look absolutely superb, as they've really got an identity to them, and that's really hard to do with with a lot of brands really, especially at this price point. They've really nailed it. Now, before I get too far into this review, I've got to say a massive thank you to First Class Watches for allowing me to review this one. They are super friendly, super helpful, really worth popping into the shop if you're in the Kenilworth area. If you're further afield, well, don't worry, I'll leave a link in the description below to their website and at the bottom of the page. Now, all I ask is if you do contact them, please mention the channels. It really would help. So anyway, let's talk sizes of this one. Now, it's a 43mm case size by 14mm thick, and the lug-to-lug is 52, and the strap size is 22mm. Now, I must say, I'm so used to having to, I measure every single watch before I review it to check the dimensions, because I'm not kidding, 9 out of 10, they're always wrong, especially the thickness. And all the dimensions on this were absolutely spot on. So well done to Elliot Brown for actually being honest. So anyway, let's look at this dial. We have this kind of matte finish to the dial. It gives it that stealth kind of look to it. I like the kind of, I'm not going to say faux patina, because just the way they've gone for this kind of light green look to the markers there. Less stark, it gives it a more warm look, if that makes sense, rather than that being dead, you know, kind of really white against black. But we do have a white marker up here at 12 o'clock to signify the top there. I like their 3, 6, 9, 12 look on it. I always think that gives it a military look straight away. Now, minimal text and so forth. We've only got a badge up here, Elliot Brown automatic, and 200 meters, because this is a 200-meter capable diver. Now, the hands look really cool with this matte black finish. They really, you don't read the outside of the hand, you just read the lume. Now, I must say, the lume is very impressive with this one. Even the bezel, it looks really good. The only other hint of colour you have on the dial here is actually on the orange tip of the second hand. I'm surprised they didn't go with red or something like that, because orange against green doesn't really seem to really pop as much as kind of red might. Now, as mentioned in the title, this is a GMT. So if I unscrew the crown here, first position is wind, second position, you can move that GMT hand, as you can see there. Now you can even I think you can, it looks like you can even do half-hour increments, which is quite good, because there are some countries around the world which are on the half-hour marker system with the GMT. So you can actually accommodate that on this watch. Now if I screw the crown in, there we go. That's screwed in there. Now we do also have a date window down here at a 4:30 position. You almost don't read it, and I like that. That's very similar to a couple of the Zin 556A. I think it's got a very similar kind of theme there, and it does look good for it. Now, as we come past that, the crystal is a sapphire crystal with AR coating, and then you get the bezel. The bezel itself, we have a GMT style bezel. So that means not only, well, first of all, if you want to read the GMT, if you're not quite sure how they operate, this enables you to give you a second time zone. So the normal time at the moment is 10:15. Now, if you're going for GMT one, you can actually use this one here to read the second time zone. So it makes it, you know, that you use that as your hour hand and that as your minute hand. But this being a GMT bezel, you can also rotate it round. Now it's a bit weird because even though it's kind of marked up as a GMT one with that the other numbers on there, it's still a unidirectional bezel, which means it can only rotate that way like a normal dive watch. And it feels like it's got 120 clicks. Now, that's more related to a dive watch, to be fair. So it's a bit of a halfway house, that one. Now, does it line up? Yes, it does. Now, one thing I must say about the bezel, good and bad this is, the actual bezel, I think the outer bezel here is incredibly case hardened. It's almost, well, it will actually, I believe it's 1,200 Vickers. Now, that's about the same as a zinc tegmented bezel, but in black form the zin's a little bit harder, but even so, that is an incredibly hard bezel on there. But one thing I would say, which is good and bad, it's got this really heavy knurling on there, which it means you can grab it incredibly well, but it also means it picks up every single bit of fluff on there or anything like that. And what I find is when I'm unscrewing the crown, because it's really nestled down, you know, there at the 4 o'clock position, which is good because it's protected, but it means every time you do, you kind of lose bits of, you know, bits of your thumbnail or skin on there, because it is quite aggressive, the knurling on there. Good and bad. Practical side, very good. From normal optics, maybe not so. The actual case of the watch is this kind of standard Elliot Brown affair. They've got a very rugged, tough looking case here. Now, as you come around to this side, we have these here. Now, these are, they haven't got spring bars. They've got actual, as you can see there, proper steel pins, like on a, what do you call it, a Panerai. But they give you the tool for getting these out. So they will lock in there and it's locked in. And then you could unscrew this if so desired. So anyway, as we come round to the back, we have, oh, there we go. We have a solid case back on this one. And wait, is that the same? Let me just see. I was thinking for a second you could use the same screw to get the back off, but you can't. Now, underneath there, we have the Seiko NH34 GMT. Now, that comes with, I think it's 40 hours of power, and I put it on the time graph to see how it'd fare. Now, the reading I got at the time, I think was coming on at -1, -2 seconds. So that was just in the position I had it. I don't know if you wore it on the wrist, how it would fare over a day, but overall it seems so far very good. I can't fault it. Now, the strap on this watch is very, very durable. It feels incredibly solid. It is marked up with the Elliot Brown on there, he says, as I turn that round. And we have 2 keepers. This should be fixed, but as you can see, it can jump its mounting point there. And the keeper on the back is all signed up as well. And it's got a nice thick, what do you call it, centerpiece there for locking in. The underside, you do have that on the underside. Now, one thing I would say, well, let me put it on my wrist and you'll see what I mean first. Oh, they do say the rubber on here is EPDM. Doesn't mean anything to me. It's definitely it's more firmer than silicone or vulcanized rubber, so I believe it would last. One nice little touch is this little clip on here. It means as it goes around, the keeper locks onto there and you don't tend to lose it so much. I'll put it on my wrist so you can have an idea how it looks. Quick wrist check. I'm wearing a new Veneziale Nanade, I think it's called, blue tungsten, and it's actually quite a cool watch. I've got that in for review. Because I'm wearing it, because I've got a black watch for review, Bob has outdone me and he's got on a Zin EZM 1.1. God knows where he found that one from. So anyway, my wrist size is 7 1/4 inches. Now let me just do this up and you'll see one slight problem with the watch. Now that is on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. Now if you notice, I'm on the second from last hole there. Now I've checked the specs and this will only fit a 7.5 inch wrist. They do have other straps which are larger, but do be aware if you've got a larger wrist you will struggle with the standard strap which comes on this one. But to be fair, honestly, I think it's a nice watch. You know, if they can do a larger strap to accommodate more, you know, larger wrist people, spot on. I think for the money, it feels quite a cool watch, because let's face it, round about this price point, you're normally looking at Seiko Alpinist, maybe something like that. And this, I think, is a really cool kind of alternative if you're like your action sports and you want something which feels incredibly rugged on the wrist. This is maybe something for you. I must say, they do talk about their own shock system. I haven't had I haven't taken one of these apart. I'd be interested to see what that shock system is. If anyone knows, please leave a comment below. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you to it at that, but most importantly, stay safe out there. Take care. Bye.